Now then, and welcome to the obligatory virtualization video. This video is going to be really exciting. I'm going to walk you through the process of creating your very own Kali Linux virtual machine that you can use and abuse at home. Now, considering you are watching a tutorial for this subject, I am going to assume you are somewhat of a noob in this field, and that is absolutely fine. In fact, even I had to watch a tutorial on how to make this tutorial. That being said, in this video, I am going to use some pretty technical vocabulary. Heck, even the title alone, we've already got words like virtualization, Kali Linux, virtual machine, obligatory. So before we begin, I'm going to go over the key concepts that I will be tutoring in this video. Virtualization is the process of creating a virtual version of something using the resources of the physical computer, or infrastructure matérielle if you're French, which I aren't. The host computer has its own operating system, separate from the operating system that is being simulated by the hypervisor, or hyperviseur if you're French, which again, I'm not. A hypervisor is an application that hosts virtual machines. The hypervisor I will be using in this demonstration is VirtualBox, and the virtual machine will be a Kali Linux operating system. But the process is the same regardless of the operating system you wish to virtualize. Virtualization is great because it allows you to do things you wouldn't typically be able to do on your host, like play HackTheBox for example. Also, sometimes it's quite fun to try out other operating systems. To put it simply, you can think of virtualization as hardware running on a software that runs simulated hardware, and inside that hardware is different software from the original hardware, but it's still kind of the same. Simple, right? Sort of like your computer is pregnant with one or more smaller, weaker computers. Your computer is the mother, Kali is the baby, and I suppose that makes VirtualBox the umbilical cord or something. I don't know, I was never given the talk. Est-ce que tu comprends? Oui? Très bon. Commençons. The only place I can recommend downloading Kali from is the Get Kali page of the kali.org website. Click the top link. This is the home page. Now scroll down to the ISO file downloads. Here you can pick which one you want, including the 32-bit version if you're running on Stone Age technology. To save you good people 53 minutes of your time, I've done my due diligence and downloaded this before recording the video, but at this point you would press save. Hop on that MFing hypervisor, create a new instance of a virtual machine, give it a cute name. Now, because it's Kali Linux, it's a Linux type, and its version is Debian 64 or 32-bit depending. I got an error message here, because nobody is perfect. No, not even me. You first have to specify the location for the VDI to be created in. This folder will be where your virtual disk image file will be saved, along with the save states and other bits of metadata for the machine we are creating. Press Next. And now we get to choose how much RAM we want to dedicate to the system. Generally, I find it best to give it half the total amount that your computer has. I have 16 gigabytes, thus I will give it 8. Moving swiftly on, we want to create a new virtual hard disk, and it will be a VDI type. Keep the storage allocation dynamic. Now we get to choose how big we want it. If it's too big, it'll be intimidating. Plus the small ones have a great personality, so I'm going with 32 gigabytes. This part is completely up to you, but if you don't set it to a multiple of 8, you are a psychopath. And now we've created the VDI. But don't get ahead of yourself, there are still some very important settings to change before you can press start. You needn't touch any of the basic information in the General tab, unless you've thought of an even cuter cute name, but I would recommend that you navigate to the Advanced section to make sure the shared clipboard and drag and drop are set as bidirectional. This will allow you to copy and paste from your host computer, and it is really useful. Over in the motherboard section of the system header, the order in which these quirky little characters stand will decide the hierarchy of locations the machine can boot from. Optical refers to the ISO image we downloaded, and hard disk is the VDI. We want it to boot optically for the first time, just for the initial setup while we build our user profile, but subsequent sessions would need to load from our VDI containing our personal system information. Since there is NACOL in the VDI as of yet, we'll put that above optical and the machine will, fingers crossed, do as I have described to you. Since we're not boomers, we can disregard the floppy disk option altogether. As for network, I don't really know what that means, so ignore it. And move over to the processor tab. Crank that up a wee bit. Again, about half as many cores as you have in your infrastructure material. Right, now display. Oh yeah, a bit of video memory never hurt anybody. I'll have some of that, thank you. Storage is very important, so listen up. It already knows where the VDI file is located because we already told it, but what it doesn't know yet is where it will fetch the operating system from. So press the little blue disk under where it says optical drive and politely show it to the location of the ISO file you downloaded earlier. Everything else is pretty much irrelevant, but here's what it should look like. Now we're ready for the first boot. You excited? I'm excited. What do you mean I don't sound excited? Of course I am. My voice? I always sound like this. Shut up, I'm not schizophrenic, you're schizophrenic. Let's just get on with it. So here it will show us which disk it's using to start up. Make sure you're using the right one so you don't end up making a Shrek 3 virtual machine, because that film is terrible. We're going to proceed with a graphical install because it's easier. At this point, it will probably tell you that you've failed, but don't worry, that's nothing you haven't heard before. Select the language settings you want. Now for my favourite part, the loading screen. Yay! Woo! That was so much fun! For this next part, I'm going to let you exercise your own free will. I'm sure you've made an account on something before, so this should be pretty easy for you. I'm not going to give you my full legal name because we've only just met, but I'll cut you a deal. If we ever reach 6 million subscribers, I'll dox myself and my colleagues. That would be fun, I think. But for now, I'd rather just stay shrouded in mystery. At this point, we're going to promise to use the disk, the whole disk, and nothing but the disk. And to keep it simple, we will have everything in one partition. We are new users after all. Now we can finish that up and save the changes. This will, however, invoke a lengthy loading screen, so you've got that to look forward to, you lucky bugger you. After a while, you'll be asked what software you want pre-installed on the machine. I'm big and greedy, so I wanted all of it, but you can pretty much do what you want with it, though I wouldn't untick anything because what's the point? After you press continue, you'll be granted with 10 minutes to half an hour of free time. I suggest that you use this period to do something that truly enriches your soul. Call a family member you haven't spoken to in a while. Spend some time in nature. Message that girl you like. The world is your lobster. Your life is your own and everything that's in it. Carpe that diem. Then install the Grub bootloader to the recommended area of the partition. There should already be one there waiting for you, so just select that. If you didn't know, GNU Grub is the service your machine uses to load the Linux operating system. Because I didn't. I probably should have, but that's why God gave us search engines. At long last, you have successfully created a Kali Linux virtual machine. Now you get to sit back and soak in your hard-earned first boot sequence. Little word from VirtualBox. There's your GNU. I don't know what this means. Look at that dragon. Ain't he nice? Ooh, weird cursor. Yeah. So you can remember your password. That's you. That's me. No. Yep. Takes its time. I'm sorry. But I just want to have the full, unedited version. There it is. Kali Linux, your hacking desktop. Brand spanking new. At this point, you can press left control and F. That makes it full screen. That's quite a handy one. There's all the hacking tools that you optionally downloaded. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. And with this first boot sequence, all of your personal user preferences are saved to your VDI file to use in future boots, of which there will be many, as this is just your first step towards offensive security domination. I'll be using this very virtual machine for a large portion of the content we'll be covering on this channel, including HackTheBox web challenges, machine pwns, overviews of hacking tools, CVEs, and probably some other stuff that your tiny little brain can't even fathom yet. So please come back next time and try follow along. Until then, take care. Bye bye. 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 Bye bye.